what's up, guys? This is Josh with Bama Jaybird Resale. I just wanted to share with you a little bit of a picking video. We had gone to a local flea mall. The yard sales and garage sales circuit wasn't looking that great. While we were there, we stumbled upon a pretty good find. I really was surprised. You know, normally there's not much at these places that is affordable, at least not for resale, but I had a really good purchase here. So come along with me. We'll take a look at some of the things we saw while we were there. And then when we get to the big find, I'll tell you more about it. I like the one that says family on it.
But do you think she actually made these, or do you think she just embroidered?
That's machine. It's possible you could have ordered those, but she, huh? There's so many things now that if you go online and look, you can find maybe stuff like this where you can get them because they're machine made and high quantity, where you might be able to get them for like $10, you know, or $15, and then do your own thing to them. All right, so we're looking around here in this local flea mall, and as you can see here, there's a metal sculpture. I took a look at it. It's priced a little bit high. I didn't really know much about it, so I passed on that. There's always plenty to look at these places and a lot of cool items. I think the problem is more with the price than the selection. Prices are generally very high. So I took a look at a couple of pair of children's Crocs. They weren't in terrible condition. I just didn't really want to take time to look them up. I didn't feel like there was enough money to be made on those particular items. Alright, so we just kind of continued on from here, looking at various booths and items. Not a lot really to see. Plenty to look up. There's going to be a mossy oak leather belt that is overpriced. Other clothing items and various items. Some of them would be great resale if the price was better. But yeah, take a look at this. I believe it's 15. Just too much for what I can resell for. I'm going to kind of skim through some clothes, look at a couple other booths that just don't really have a lot that I'm interested in. Kind of blow through these clothes really quick. My phone's giving me fits during this time. I'm having trouble running any comps, so that was kind of frustrating. But eventually I'm going to find my way to a booth where I do have some luck. And that's what this video is really about. I had one really awesome booth. But some cool items along the way. Looked at a few shirts here. The next booth that I go to is going to have some new with tags items that I really gave a lot of consideration to. Again, I couldn't look any of this stuff up, so I just kind of went on what I already know, and I chose to pass on all of this. I found it ironic that I went in a flea mall, and instead of buying, you know, hard goods, I wound up buying clothing items. This is a Tascam audio recording piece of equipment. I decided to pass on it as well. Could probably have used it for personal use, but not so much for making money. And then this booth had some really high name brand purses. I mean, Louis Vuitton, though they probably were fake. I don't know enough about those to authenticate them, so I passed on that. And here is the booth with the new with tags MLB jerseys. This is some St. Louis Cardinals jerseys. Can't really see the top part, but it's the powder blue variation. Really cool. And just some other stuff. All this was new with tags. The price point was close. I almost pulled the trigger and bought some of that because of being able to do multi-quantity listings, but I chose not to. And so continued to explore some of the booths. Hey, what's up, guys? So just want to step back in one more time and just ask you, if you don't mind, you get a chance, go ahead and subscribe. If you like what you see, I hope to be posting a lot more content in the coming weeks. Again, subscribe, hit that like button, post a comment, let me know what you're thinking. If you see anything in this video that I missed that I should have been paying more attention to, be sure to let me know. Hit the bell notification too. Appreciate it so much. You guys have a great one. Proceeded on. Here you're going to see a set of waders. That again, they were close. I almost got these. They were just priced a little high. I didn't feel like there was quite enough profit. I'm trying to make better choices and avoid sinking too much money into items that I cannot make the right kind of profit on. So went through some pants here, some jeans. There's also a cool motorcycle helmet. It's a youth model, but it's a Batman helmet. Again, I wanted to look this thing up. It might have been really good. I just didn't know. I didn't know enough about it to make a call. So here we are. looking it over, and again, after looking it over really well, my phone's acting up, so I just put it back, and I end up making it in this booth to a basket that had some vintage toys. There were some Rugrats figures, there were some Cabbage Patch, some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it was priced reasonable. Nothing was in perfect condition or 100% complete necessarily. That's a shredder from the I think the late '80s, early '90s. It was the early one, not the original iteration, but this is the one where he's got the chamber that he goes in. Um, but anyhow, I picked up a couple of these, thought about them, finally got my phone to work and long enough so that I could look at comps on some of them, and I just decided those are Cabbage Patch, the miniatures. But just decided it wasn't enough profit, so eventually I put all of these back, and I moved on to other items. So here, looking through some clothes again. This is the booth where I'm going to make my best finds. So I'm really excited that this part of the video is here. This is going to be a vintage clothing haul that is pretty cool. It's not a huge number of items, but some really good items. Now, I also picked up a pair of cinch uh, jeans. I had picked up a pair of Ariat jeans as well. I'm not sure if that's already been in the video or if I maybe edited that part out, but I did find a couple pair of jeans here. There was one pair of Ariat that had been busted and they'd sewed back together. I just wasn't confident I could get what I needed out of those. And here you see me putting back the last bag of those toys. I finally made the decision. I just didn't want to bother with them. And so at this point, I'm just looking over the stuff that's kind of on the outside, making some decisions. And I haven't even discovered the really awesome find in this booth yet. I keep looking at these items that are stacked up. I went through the rack. I saw some cool items. This is really neat. This is leather and some lace and fringe. There's some vintage shirts hanging here, but they're priced like $10, $12, $8, kind of in that price range. This one I didn't know or recognize the brand. It might be awesome. It looked like it possibly could be out of maybe even the 60s or 70s. When I first saw this one, I know that the Aztec prints on the Wrangler shirts are desirable, and these oftentimes this heavier fabric, they call them Brushpoppers, and that tends to produce better sales and higher dollar sales. But it was $10, so at first glance I was like, yeah, $10 is a little much. I'm going to keep looking. They had this one that had the embroidered name Wrangler on the pocket, above the pocket, also across the back. I look at it more later and wound up looking it up. Maybe should have got it, not sure. But these others, there's some really nice ones. I mean, I like these. Some of these prints, they're unique. This is a cinch. But the price, again, is just a little much on some of these. Wanting $10 for them, I just didn't see a lot of profit left on them. Some nice Wranglers, nice prints on those. Um, and again, just kind of checking all this out, kind of speed it up a little bit as I go through the rest of the shirts on the rack. Eventually, I'm going to notice that there's a couple of tubs underneath this rack that also have clothing in them that is priced. And when I notice those, that's when the real good stuff starts to come out. Now, what I noticed with these is unlike the stuff on the rack, these items were priced much more reasonable. Most of it was $2 and $3 an item. And so there's several vintage shirts, um, especially Pearl Snap. Most of them are going to be Wrangler, but there are a couple of others. I think there was a Roper brand. Might have been an Eli brand. This is one of the really awesome ones. I pull this one out. I've wanted to find something like this. It's kind of like the color block with the multicolor Aztec print, very bright colors. I had my wife to help me hold this up and take a good look at it. Man, I just love this shirt. Matter of fact, this is one that I'd probably even consider keeping for myself. But looking at comps on shirts like this, they tend to land somewhere around $50 to $75, and this was priced at like $3. I was so excited. This was a really awesome find. Probably late '80s, maybe early '90s, but definitely a good find. So I thought, what else is in here? So I go back. I keep digging, and I'm going to find some others. This is a vintage Tommy Hilfiger. Now, I tend to steer away from a lot of the Tommy Hilfiger items, even when they're vintage. The only things I really tend to pick up might be jeans that have the big flag or spell outs on them, shirts with big spell outs. But here I go digging, and there are more to come. They're not all as exciting as that last one, but here's a Wrangler 20X. This is a little bit newer. But it's a nice pearl snap for $2 again. I think I can probably get 15, maybe $18 out of this, maybe more, but for sure if I price it competitive like that, I believe I can move it quick. Love the colors in that one. A little bit more modern looking, but there's going to be more vintage ones coming up as well. So there's other stuff in this tub, but as I dig, more and more it exposes itself. So here we have another Wrangler vintage brush popper. This is like the 90s style. This is really a cool shirt. Loved this shirt. I'm going to lay it to the side. At this point, I'm just kind of excited about what else might be in here. So here we go again. Pull this out. A really nice print, block colors. Now this one I don't think was Wrangler, but I really like the colors on it. If it had been Wrangler, I'd have picked it up. I believe I wound up passing on this one. My wife was asking me about a pair of pants that I didn't really know anything about. There's the Roper, kind of a black and yellow plaid. Probably should have picked it up at $2. I could have easily probably got $12 or $14 for it. It was not a bad shirt. So at this point, I go back and I'm thinking about that other shirt. Now, I mean, after looking up the first one that had the bright colors, I'm really starting to think maybe this is a really good find. And so get way more interested. I'm not as familiar with the label that's in the neck of this shirt. It looked different, made me think it might be older than I thought. I'm going to go ahead at this point, add some of these other shirts to the pile in the buggy. I really just kind of wanted to cover that one up. I was afraid somebody else might see it and want it. So we keep going here. And I'm really checking out this green, thinking, maybe I should get it. I probably shouldn't have passed on that one. If it's still there when I go back, I may pick it up. And then here is the other Wrangler that's very similar to that first one I pulled out. As I look this one up, I'm going to end up finding a comp for this particular shirt that was $150. I was shocked. So again, these Wranglers that I have put in the buggy so far range in value based on sold comps anywhere from $50 up to $150. Here's another one, color block style shirt. It's got a plaid with the sleeves a different color. Not the best colors, but definitely vintage. Definitely something people would be looking for. And that was in the other box. And there wasn't much else in that box, but that one shirt laying on top really made me think, I wonder what all was there before it got picked over the first time. So just checking this out one more time. I almost bought it, but I changed my mind. So we pushed on, looked at some other booths. Nothing was near as exciting as that booth, though. There were some interesting items, things that, again, had the prices been just a little bit less, I might have, pulled the trigger and bought some of, but I didn't. I am going to find, I think, 2 polo shirts here. I have picked a couple of these up at the Goodwill bins a while back. These are women's shirts. They are like the polo dress shirts in a Oxford, that material, the Oxford material. Very nice. These looked good. I kind of studied over them a little bit, and I thought, well, the last 2 that I bought, the same person bought both of them, and I think I sold them for just under $20 a piece. I think these, I can't remember for sure. I'm trying to catch the price there. Seems like they were $5 each, and so I thought, well, $10 investment. If I can get right at $20 a piece for these, that would be $40. So 10 into 40 is not bad. I'll take it. So I'll move on. We go on down a couple of booths and taking a look again, just kind of seeing what's here. Got it sped up because it's really not time to spend lingering on any of this stuff. Some cool salt and pepper shakers. I've bought some of those in the past and had luck, especially the anthropomorphic. Those tend to do well. So we continue on a little bit. Again, lots of interesting items. Just nothing that I feel like is worth chancing for a resale. And so as we press on just a little bit further, I know there's going to be at least one other booth where we pick up some items. And there's one booth that we missed. I actually ran out of battery and forgot to bring my other battery in with me. But I really liked this, by the way. This porcelain, this was really cool. It was like a porcelain dinosaur. Might have been a good item. It was marked on the bottom, but I didn't know enough about it. I couldn't look it up. My wife had moved on. I had used her phone a time or two, but just gave up. So there were some shorts here. These are cargo shorts in a plaid. I believe they're American Eagle. Those can do pretty well. They're not high dollar, but you can get like $18 to $20 for those. So I took a look at those. Now this booth had some really awesome T-shirts. Some of these were vintage. One in particular here is, as they had it marked, kind of like a grill style T-shirt. It was a Stone Cold from the early era. It was really, really awesome. Actual WWF. There are some NASCAR, a couple of NASCAR T-shirts mixed in with this too. Some superhero T-shirts. Some of these I really liked, but again, the price is just a little bit out of my price range. Um, couldn't really justify putting that money into it. So keep looking. I really thought about the Tony Stewart shirt for a minute, but decided to move on. And there it is, man, the rattlesnake. I used to love when I was a kid in the 90s, back when WCW was giving WWF a little bit of competition. That era of wrestling is when I was really paying attention. I haven't really paid attention much in the last 15 years or longer, but I do know that this was a really, really good shirt. It was marked, I think, $75. It was marked way up. There was no way I was going to pay what they were asking, not as a resale item. I mean, had it been a shirt that I knew I could get $200 or $300 for, then I might have considered it. But man, at 75 already, not doing it. These were new with tags. The Wonder Wink scrub bottoms, not a bad price on those, but I just wasn't interested. At this point, man, my adrenaline's still pumping. I'm excited about what's in the cart because I've got all those Brushpoppers. I'm really looking forward to getting those home, getting them listed, looking up more specifics on the prices. Just an exciting moment there. And then here we have another pair of Ariat jeans. This is what I was telling you about.